Welcome to Dropping Diamonds with me, AJ Andrews, where we dive headfirst into the world of softball. Today, I got my girl, the girl boss herself, the Blaze baddie, all of the above, Aleshia Ocasio joining me. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming. Before I get started with the show, I typically start with a quote and an affirmation. And one that I thought was really fitting for you because I feel like you're someone that really just sets your own standards and then you achieve them every single time was the standards you set determine the life you get. The standards you set determine the life you get. If we were to build an affirmation from that quote, what do you feel like the affirmation should be? That you wake up and you're going to build upon that. What would it sound like?
I really love that because I feel like what you put into the world is most of the time what you're going to get out, the work that you put in. So I love that, the standard that you set. I think every day you just got to give it your all. And every day doesn't mean that you're going to have 100%. If you have 50%, then give 50% that day. So I just think you wake up, you set your goals, you crush them, and then move on to the next. But also think on the flip side of that, you got to show yourself grace because not every day is going to be the day where you tackle everything. So I think setting the standard and continuing to rise to that standard and continuing to break glass ceilings like you have. And I've enjoyed watching you throughout the years too. So I love it.
I think based off of what you got, I feel we should say affirmation for everybody today is every day, give what you got, whether it's 100 or 50%, show up, set the standard of what I see, dream, and who I will be. Today, my standards have no ceilings. I give myself permission to do what I've never done before. My best opportunity is behind the next door.
Absolutely. Clock it. Clock it. Good
That's an
paraphrase.
affirmation.
Because I was kind of everywhere with it, but you did a good job.
That's what we're bringing here. That's what we're bringing. Well, Lily, with you setting your own standards from the go, playing softball, when did you set the standard of saying, I want to play college ball and I'm going to continue to build upon, whether it's 50% or 100%, give all I can to make that happen?
I think growing up, I just had so much fun playing. And it was never a thing in my younger years of like, I want to go and play for the Florida Gators. I did want to go and play for UCLA at one point later in middle school, but I just think I had so much fun playing the game. I was good at it and I just continued to play and I wanted to be better. I wanted to be better than everybody else. So I would always take my dad to the backyard and pitch and go to the field and drag them and do infield and hit and stuff like that. But I think there was one moment where I was like, I want to be a shortstop for UCLA because of Natasha Polly. Just watching her and then getting to watch her in Orlando with USA, I think for me, that dream just came alive.
Well, shortstop, because of Natasha Watley, what inspired you to want to become a pitcher?
It's so easy to say the Jenny Finches, the Lisa Fernandezes, and honestly, that's who I saw growing up. But at the end of the day, I just felt like I was in my own lane and I just, like I said, I wanted to throw the hardest. I wanted to strike people out. I just wanted to be great in the circle. And I think with all the support that I had from my family, to be the greatest, to be one of the best, in my eyes, I think that took my confidence to another level. But I don't necessarily think I had just one person that I was like, I want to be just like them. I think for me, it was like, I just want to play and I just want to be an athlete and I just want to go to college and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I feel like when it comes to pitching, I wanted to set those standards and, crush them.
And so you just woke up one day, which I feel like all of us, we've all kind of went through like the pitching position. We're like, okay, yeah, not for us, not for me. But you went through and said, oh, no, I like the feeling of making people have to walk back to the dugout. Was that what it
Oh,
was?
yeah, absolutely. Because, honey, I want to be able to control the tempo of the game and to be able to have a large impact on it too.
What would you feel like was probably the first moment when you realized, nah, pitching is where it's at, or this is the pitch? Because for those that aren't unfamiliar, Lily stuff moves. And when it moves, it really moves. And when you think it's going to be a strike, that's when it's below your ankles, but it's too late. You already started swinging. And so when it comes to you finding your pitch and the pitch that was gonna help you put all those people back into the dugout. What allowed you to really realize, "Okay, this is a pitch I'm gonna master"?
It's funny that you say that, about my stuff kinda going through the zone and then going to your ankles because I didn't learn my off-speed drop ball until I got to college. Before I got to college, I was throwing rise balls, curveballs, screwballs, nothing changes, and honestly, I got to college and she was like, "We're not throwing that anymore." Tried to learn one of my teammates' change-ups, and I ended up learning my off-speed drop because of it, and then in that moment, on my freshman year, that was my pitch. And so at that moment, I could go rise ball, then I could go off-speed drop, but really, I learned it from a teammate, and I think people don't understand how important bullpens are, not only by yourself, but with the rest of the staff to just be able to bounce ideas off of each other, to learn, to grow, to encourage one another. So I think if it weren't for Delaney Gorley, I'm sure you know who she is because she's back in your backyard. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have the pitch and a half. It's crazy.
How did that conversation happen with Delaney in the bullpen? You just see her throw that pitch and say, "Okay, let me give this a try."
Well, we were always conversating within our bullpens, like when she would throw, because our bullpen was so tiny back then. Like I did not play in the new renovated stadium.
Yeah, none of us did. All these new and approved SEC things they got going on.
I'm sick about it. I don't want to talk about it. Anywho, we would always be like, good pitch, great pitch, encouraging one another, laughing with one another. I think that's what made our bullpen so great. But Rocha took away my changeup. I had a knuckle change and she took it away and we're just like, we need to learn an off-speed pitch. So she was like, you're going to learn Delaney's. And I just sat with Delaney. Rocha didn't say a word. And Delaney was like, this is how you throw it. And I'm not flexible at all. She'd be doing some voodoo magic trick with her hand. So I tried to like do it because she throws it at the back of her hand, but it ended up coming on top like a drop ball. So that was really all she wrote.
I was always curious, especially when pitchers have, their signature pitch, how it even comes about. Is it you throw it that one time and then you say, "Oh wait, that was kind of nice," and then you do it again, and then you get to a point where you kind of master it? Because once you throw it by accident, does it just stick after that once accidental strike?
Honestly, I think everybody's different. Like for me, I just threw it and everybody's like, time out. We need to do this more. I think when people learn pitches and it comes so easily, it's so easy to gravitate towards the pitch because it's so easy to throw. But I mean, there's other pitches that people have that are their bread and butter that they've had to work a little bit extra hard for. But I think if a pitch feels the most natural and the easiest to throw, I think that's when people gravitate towards a pitch.
Well, when you're teaching young girls how to pitch, what do you advise them on?
First strikes. You say young girl, what is the
Whoever's
like?
gonna get over the plate, girl, that's gonna be your pitch.
No, seriously, no. Like you can just tell in young athletes, like their bodies and their mannerisms and how they move, like what's going to be easiest for them. We can get into like the nitty gritty of like supination and pronation and all that, but I could just tell. I'll have them throw one thing and kind of just see like how they throw it and if it's easy or if it's hard and kind of work from there. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and it's very there's a lot of different nuances to pitching, but I think if it's easy, then you just stick with it.
The supernation and the pronation.
It's too much. Too much for me, and I'm different.
I'm assuming that has to do with the way your body moves.
Yeah, like open, rise ball, then like turn over, like drop ball kind of. So, yeah.
You gotta make it work. Just make it work.
Just like sweetheart, we'll be good.
What's even more impressive is that you do all of that with your nails. Can we have a moment for the nails? A moment, yes, a moment for the nails. Not only, ladies and gentlemen, can she strike you out, but she can strike you out and then flex one time afterwards. How is that possible?
I've always gotten my nails done, and I just feel like I shouldn't have to compromise like beauty and what I like to play sport. Like I feel like I can be beautiful and I could be sexy and I could be strong and I can trick you out with my makeup done, my hair done, my nails. So for me, it's like I'm not gonna keep my nails, and there's a lot of trial and error in like what length I need to be able to finish. Because in college, oh my gosh, like I would break mine. I still break nails, but my nails would break and it would be so painful. But I know now that I have to cut them a little bit shorter in order to actually pitch. So that's just the trick. You got to cut them down. If you want to keep your nails, you just got to cut them a little bit down.
Gotta cut them down and mow them down. That should be
You
a
do.
pitching motto. Let me put that on a shirt.
You might have
Gotta
did
cut them
something.
down and mow them down, girls. Well, what is like? How do you grip the ball with your nails?
Um, how do I mean, normally,
Oh, really? I thought like sometimes you'll have to like dig into it to
I feel like that's more like baseball players, but I feel like I need to cut these 2 down a little bit more. Like, I don't really dig into it. I just create some tension with my index finger to, like,
Ah,
go around.
okay.
But I think baseball players are, like, digging into the ball a little bit more.
Well, I wanna highlight that a little bit more, the idea that you don't have to compromise who you are in order to be the athlete that you want to be. Is that something that you feel like you've always really established, or did you kinda get to a place within your career at some point where you said, "You know what? I'm trying to be something I'm not, or I'm not being fully myself, and I can't perform the way I wanna perform unless I'm 1,000% Lily."
I feel like I've always been myself, and I feel like a lot of my career I've been very misunderstood, and I've been in environments where I wasn't necessarily appreciated for being myself, and Um, I think once I found people who appreciated, like, what I bring to the table, I think that's when I succeed the most. Um, and I think too, if I'm loose, if I'm myself, if I'm doing all the little things that I need to do to feel good or look good, feel good, play good, then that's when I can put the best product on the field. But I think for me, it's about not only being myself, but, like, not really caring what you think of me at the same time, because I feel like if I'm myself, then the right people are going to gravitate towards me and vice versa.
In the moments when, because I feel like in softball, just as a black or brown player, we've always all have been in situations where we're not necessarily maybe feel like we're appreciated, or we feel like we maybe have to do a little bit more in order to get just as much. When you talk about the environments that you feel like you didn't feel like you could be, or you didn't feel appreciated for being who you were, how did you navigate those?
There's been times in my career where coaches have been like, stop dancing or like, stop singing or, you know, say it so everybody can understand. So for me, it's like, I just feel like there's certain things about myself that allow me to not only play to the best of my ability, but I feel like I give energy to other people to allow them to be themselves, and I think it just comes tenfold when that happens. And, also, if nobody accepts me, then I just don't feel like I need to be in your presence. Like, we can be teammates, and that's just the reality of life and sport and being in a team is, like, if you don't like me, if you don't accept me, like, I compete that, I don't need to be around you. But at the end of the day, we're teammates, so we have to get along, we have to be cohesive as a unit on the field. But I think for me, if I were to give advice to anybody, it's to continue to be yourself. Obviously, you gotta know there's a time and a place for everything. But just continue to be yourself and allow your light to shine, so that you can be the best version of yourself in all facets.
Allow your light to shine so that those who are looking for your light know where to go. That was a lesson somebody once told me. It's like, if you dim your light, how are the people that are looking for you supposed to find you? You gotta be bright, and it's gonna blind some people, but the people that are looking for it, you're giving them a path. And so I
Yes.
think it's hard to sometimes grasp, not just as a woman in sport, but sometimes as a woman when like the world is trying to tell you who to be and what to do and how to do it, and trying to navigate those in order to become the best version of who you are can be difficult. And especially in a sport like softball where you are faced with failure almost every single time, if not every single time you step on the field at some capacity. What in like early in your career, what was a moment that really tested your confidence that you are now proud to say that you made it through?
I've had so many moments where I felt a little bit tested. My first few years in pro were really hard just because I had to learn how to work for myself and nobody was telling me what to do. But I had somebody, and this is important, I had somebody who helped me, like, who brought me to the grind, who showed me how to work. And that was Nadia Taylor. She helped me, like, overcome that part in my career, and I would definitely tip my cap to her of a reason why I'm still pro because I learned how to work. I think another time, and people don't realize, like, I tore my labrum in 2022, and that really messed up my mentality on the field.
Yeah.
And I mean, 2022 was a hard year all in all, but tearing my labrum, I think, was just like icing on the cake. And it took me a long time to really gain confidence in my physical ability to go back to being who I knew I was. And this whole year was a tough year for my team. I know, the Blaze, we didn't have a great season, but I think it was just another huge test. And it tested my confidence and it tested my mentality, my toughness, and the whole nine. But again, going back to people who appreciate me and what I bring to the table and allowing me to be myself, like my GM, I think, and her protecting me, I think spoke a lot to that. But going back to just kind of losing my confidence and losing like my mentality, my mental toughness, trying to recover from like a partial tear it's so easy to say, oh, I went to rehab and I'm good now. But there's so much more that comes from injury, not just the physicality. Is like, how do I get back to being who I was? How do I come back stronger? And for me, it was a big question mark because it was so easy for me to always say, like, I'm confident on the mound. I have a poker face. Like, nothing gets to me. And typically it doesn't. But I spent 2 to 3 years just trying to figure out who I was on the mound again. And that was very tough, and it's still
Yeah.
tough. But I think injury was the has been the biggest lesson for me in figuring out how to continue to climb the ladder to be an elite athlete. And also, I'm nearing 30, so um, I'm getting a little bit older,
Just
which
a smidge.
yeah, just a little bit. But
Just a
like, it's like,
smidge.
okay, how I balance like me getting a little bit older and all these little uh, tweaks that I'm getting with the physical and mental aspect of my game. So I think that's one battle that I'm facing right now, and just trying to overcome the whole um, injury thing. And the excuse part is also like something you got to kind of get over. Is like, okay, everybody probably has a torn labrum, or everybody probably has dealt with injury of some sort. I think that's just the biggest battle that I think I faced.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're I don't know, injury is just such a it's such a hard thing to really grasp unless you've experienced it. Because yeah, everybody's been hurt, but not people have had, like, ending injuries or injuries where you're literally trying to find yourself again. Because I mean, your labrum, that's a part of what makes you a great pitcher, right? Your arm, like, you need that to throw. Or, like, I tore my labrum in my hip. I'm known as a speed player. My labrum has to be healed in order for that to come back, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of to your point of how it just really weighs on your mental. When you're trying to talk to yourself, what are the things that you would tell yourself in order as you're working to get that confidence back and trying to find yourself again?
And I think this goes for every aspect of any game or anything that you're practicing to be great at, is the practice aspect of it. And I think that's where you build confidence, that's where you build trust, and that's where the disconnect is like, I'm physically able, I'm strong, I'm healthy for the most part, but how do I bridge that gap between being strong and then the mental aspect of like actually trusting that I'm strong? Just repetition, I think, is the biggest. Is like repetition, knowing that I can do it, and then executing when I get on the field.
Yeah, I think that's the trusting yourself part. It becomes oftentimes the hardest. And I started to just read a bunch of different books. And one of the things that really stuck out to me that I kind of my perspective from what someone had said was that versus instead of looking at, like, let's say you do something while you're injured as that's who I am, it's more so, oh, well, that's just me recovering. Like, that's not AJ the athlete, that's AJ in recovery, right? And so
Mhm.
then so you don't, like, stigmatize or attach yourself to the part of you that's working to get back to who you've been or what you could become. And so I think that was a really good perspective change versus being like, "Dang, like, I can't get it done right now." It's more, "But this isn't you. This is recovery you. Like, keep going. Keep going." And is there anything when you think of, like, people or words or inspiration, is there anything that maybe has really kind of inspired you throughout your process of continuing to try to find yourself or continuing to get better as athlete you are?
There's a quote and I don't even know if I can remember the exact quote, but I'm big on like visual. I'm big on just imagining and manifesting. So for me, it's like I've already been there because I've already visualized it. So I know that I'm gonna get a hit before I get a hit. Even if I don't get a hit, then I know the next time I'm gonna get a hit. if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I've already done it, and now it's just time to execute. So for me, it's like, I've done harder things. I've done harder things. I've already been here before. And also too is like one thing that I've learned from my best friend in college, Kelsey Stewart. I went into college and I was like, "How are you so good? Like, how do you just persevere through everything?" She's like, "It's literally dog eat dog. Like, I'm gonna eat tonight, or you're gonna eat tonight." So that's literally how you have to think about it. So for me, when I step out on the field, it's like I gotta feed my family. Like, it's like it's one of those things. It's like, dang, like I can't let you beat me. Like I gotta eat tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You just have to create little games and little battles within the game to be able to kind of allow yourself to stay competitive, because being competitive is so hard. It's like I pitched for a millisecond, then I got 10 seconds off. Then I got to pitch again for another millisecond. Then I got to go into the dugout, and now I'm eating snacks, and now I'm drinking water. Now I got to go back to the field. So it's like so many different breaks in the game of softball. You have to figure out how to stay focused and stay competitive. So I think it's like dog eat dog when you're out there.
I love that. And I can envision Kelsey saying that in her face as she's saying it. When you're on the mound, and let's say you're behind the count, what are some of the mental games that you play with yourself or tell yourself in order to come back to sit somebody down or to get back ahead in the count?
I think it depends on when I've already pitched them, but at the end
Mm.
of the day, just throw something, make something dance, make a dance to the zone, like,
Look at that.
a dance. Yeah, don't give them a P, don't give them nothing, through the middle, but hit a spot, really, just hit a spot and be competitive. I think when your back's against the wall like that, that's when it's, I think, the toughest to pitch, because you have all this pressure. Now you have to figure out how to translate that into a pitch and keep your composure. So I just think you don't try to be bigger than the game. You just take each moment for what it is, and that give the moment what it is.
And make a dance. Make a dance, girl. In every aspect of the game. Yeah. We're too unserious. As two people, you and Kelsey, who know what it's like when it comes to the dog eat dog mentality. This is coming from someone that has to compete against the both of them at LSU, playing the Florida Gators, whether it be in a regular season game or it be at the World Series. Kelsey and Aleshia took my lunch many times. And when it came down to the World Series, back-to-back World Series champions, the Florida Gators, it takes a lot of eating people's lunches to make that happen. World Series is something that all softball players aim to get to, aim to be at, and aim to hopefully win, and you were able to achieve that. How does it happen? Other than beating the other team, making it because, in softball, we know, like, sometimes the best teams don't always win, and it really is, to your point, a dog eat dog mentality to make it out there.
It really is. It's like you just never know. Like, you can make your predictions, but some crazy stuff just ends up happening. Like this past year, Nigeri Kennedy trying to walk Reese Atwood and then throws a pit lane and she gets to her. Like, stuff just happens so crazy, and you just I think getting there is a huge feat, and it's so cliche, but obviously we work hard in the off season and treat every moment like the big moment, so that no moment gets too big for us. But I pitched a lot my freshman year. Lauren Hager ended up coming out of the woodworks and just really grinding and being our black horse that year to take us all the way to the championship. And I did get a game. I get the first game of the championship series, which I was so nervous. My stomach was like turning upside down and around. I was sweating. It was crazy. But I think the biggest thing above playing good softball is how you guys, or how a team loves each other and how they act and are outside of the softball field. I think we were one big family that year, and you could definitely see how the chemistry outside of the field completely shifted and translated onto the field. And I think that's how we won. I think that's how teams win championships.
Mm. Did you guys have, like, a motto throughout the year? Especially when, like, the times get hard. There's days when, we'd rather do anything but go to practice. To get through all of those hard times and the moments which you just didn't wanna be there in order to continue to get better, continue to have the camaraderie on a team, what did the Florida Gators do in order to make that happen?
I don't remember any specific motto, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember any phrase. I just
We were just
remember
good.
let me tell you, I just remember Coach Ron made us bring the lunch pails to the field every single day like we were clocking in for work. We literally had a
Really? Like, y'all
yes,
are
girl,
going to go work on the road on on the railroads.
bruh. Every day we had our lunch meal, we had stuff inside of it, we had to bring our cards, we had a machine. We had to clock in, clock yes. So, we were about our business, we were working, for real. Can't say too much about that, but we got a championship out of it.
You gotta clock in and clock out.
We did, we did.
What is it would you say is maybe, like, the craziest thing? Because I mean, coaches come up with some, some creative stuff to get us focused and get us locked in for practice and/or games. What's one of the craziest things Coach Walton has done?
The lunch pails and clocking in was kinda crazy, but it's crazy if we won, like, it works. As far as the craziest thing, I don't know. Everybody's gotta be a little crazy
Or
if
maybe the
you're
most
good at what you do,
creative thing you look back and
Um,
say, "Dang, okay." I remember Coach Torino, there was one time when we had to, man, we ran the entire I'm telling you, we ran basically all of Baton Rouge. Um, we had to run, like, from through I don't know, we had to get out it was right before a football game too. Out all the way down the levee, come back, we had a full practice, and then we had everybody coming out, like, everybody on the staff would say something to, like, fire us up, motivate us, or what they want, and then we had to go do polls, come back. Lord, I don't know. All I know is we didn't wanna do that again. So it was like, whatever we gotta do to not do that again, just let us know.
oh, that reminds me, we did stuff like that. We did triathlons, where we had to bike 10 miles, then run 2 miles, go out the rope one time. Then we had to do stadiums all the way up and down and snake it,
Mhm.
swim. But I will never forget, there's one time when we were gonna run 3 miles outside, right? And Florida, we got rained out one morning at 6 AM, and one random day, we show up to the indoor facility, and there's a table, there's all these bracelets and wristbands. Coach Walton's there, Coach Walton's wife is there, Coach
Oh,
Walton's wife.
Lord. I would've been so nervous. As soon as I see, like, extracurricular people, I'm like, "Oh god."
I'm like, What's like A1 right now?" But, so he's like, "We're gonna run at 3 miles indoor." So we ran 17 and a half laps around the we just kept grabbing bracelets to make sure we were counting our laps. It was crazy, and I'm traumatized, but in a good way,
Yeah, they build character. I love it now because in those moments, like, after we leave, I'm just like, "I'm just gonna go take a nap," whatever it is that we do to try to digress from the day. But then years from then, as we sit back and we talk about it, it's like, "Man, that was one of my favorite memories." I hated every second of it, but I love talking about it.
I will never say that 17
That
and but I will kick my feet up and cheers to a lot of other things in my career because I wouldn't trade my experience for anything. Not even NIL.
Dang. Even
I'm
though
just
we would've made so much money if we were playing it now. Anyway, I'm gonna digress on that one. Lately, I thought it was always super cool being able to play against you, whether it be in college or in pro, because I just thought you were always just another representation of what can be done in this game, especially for little black girls and little brown girls, as you don't often see black and brown girls as pitchers in softball. And I mean, oftentimes what you see is the outfield, shortstop, maybe. I think right now, things are expanding and the opportunities are getting bigger, but back then it was a little bit less. For you when it comes to representation and what you've been able to do for the game, and I know you working with Players Alliance, you having your own businesses, you're setting more and more standards every single day. For you when it comes to representation, what do you feel like your impact is, or what do you hope it to be?
I hope that people can look at me and understand, aside from the color of my skin, just know that they can be a pitcher and know that they can be able to also hit and play positions and literally do whatever they want to do on the softball field. But then talking about little brown girls, little black girls, color girls, whoever it may be, just knowing that they can see me doing all the things and that they don't have to limit themselves to just doing one thing. They don't have to limit themselves to playing the outfield. They don't have to limit themselves to just being um, X, Y, or Z in a box. They can literally do whatever they set their minds to, and they can do it at the professional level. And I hope that they can see me and then know that. But I think for me, like representation is important to see me on TV and see us on TV, but to be in the community too, I think is even more important to be hands-on, to be able to be in front of these girls and be a face for them and um, be active, in front of them and kind of show them the way and encourage them, I think is the impact that I want to leave.
You're doing it. Leaving your impact, showing everybody what I mean, shoot, you make me wanna be a pitcher. If I had to start all over. I mean, I don't know. Just so I can wear nails, just so I can figure that part out while I'm out there trying to mow people down. When you got recruited, what does that look like for you? What does that process look like being able to go play at Florida? Because I know you said UCLA was also a team that you're interested in. Why did you wanna go play for the Gators, and what did that look like for you?
If I'm being frank, I never even was like, let me go to Florida. Let me be a Gator. Never. I mean, we grew up in Florida and it's either Gator stuff or FSU stuff and everywhere you look, even in the gas stations. But it was never a thing of like, I want to play for the Gators. For me, it's like I wanted to go somewhere. I want to make an impact in a program. And I wanted to get recruited. And I didn't even realize how good I was. And this is not a dig to any program, but I didn't realize how good I was until I told people that I was committed to FGCU and they looked at me a certain way and the conversation kind of ended. For me, that was the reality that I faced because I was committed to FGCU before I was committed to Florida. Once I committed and I told people where I was going, it's like, oh, the bigger you, like, why did you make
Yeah.
this decision? And I think for me, my ears started ringing like maybe they're right. And I committed February of my junior year. Things were a lot different back then. Coaches could reach out to you a lot earlier. They didn't have all the different sanctions and rules that they have now. So things I think got a little bit more hectic. And so I committed my junior year, February my junior year, had a fantastic junior high school season and a great summer as well. And after that, I just started to get cold feet. I was like, you know what? Maybe these people are right. And that's probably one of the only times I'm gonna listen to, outside people. So I was just like, dang, like people are looking at me crazy. And so I just had to kind of step back and reevaluate, like, do I want to go to a program and just like kind of be the best at the program? Or do I want to go somewhere else where like I have the opportunity to make an impact, sure, but to play for something a little bit bigger, a lot bigger, like a
Mhm.
national championship. And it's crazy. I decommitted like a week before early signing period in November. It was hard.
I was gonna
Just because I'm
say,
a
is
little
that scary? Like, just
it was scary. I had a full scholarship and I decommitted to absolutely no offers. It's not like football where they're still calling and texting you when you're committed and pulling the rug for other schools. It's not like that at all. So I literally decommitted from my school and coach was like, you can't come back. Like there's no coming back. Like this is it. So I just want to make sure you're sure. And I was like, I'm sure. Like I'm sure. So I went to some tournaments. I got some looks. It's crazy because my high school team was really good, and I already had a Florida commit, a grade younger than me, and a grade higher than me. I had a FSU commit, so naturally, people were making calls on my behalf, which was great. And I went on a visit without any of the coaches really even recruiting me because of word of mouth, which is crazy to me. But I went on a visit, and it was the last day of signing period. And I was like, "Oh, he's gonna put out the NLI papers for me. I'm gonna sign right here." But no, I waited a week and I committed like the week later, and then I had to wait to the next year to sign in April. But I tell people like, recruiting is different for everyone. Now there's a lot more structure to it to where you can't even get contacted by school until September 1st. But I just tell everyone everybody's journey is so different. You just kind of have to navigate it the best way you know how.
But I feel like it's also a testament of, like, I feel like you end up where you're supposed to be. You know, like, things kinda really they all fall together how it's supposed to, even if it's unconventional or scary.
They do. I say it all the time. I'm like, I don't know. Like going to Florida actually changed my life.
I know. Same. I don't know where I like, before I went to LSU, I used to think, like, Louisiana was, like, a made up state. I was like, 'cause all I had for, like, examples of it was, like, the people that used to shoot gators, you know what I mean? And, like, all you have is that stuff you see on TV, and I was like, "That just seems like a whole 'nother world over there." And I
Yeah.
go there, I don't know who I would be without Louisiana. I say, "Oh, Sha baby," all these Louisiana influences that will never leave me now because, I mean, we grew up there. We literally went from 18 to 20, whatever, however long we stayed. We were just babies, just babies. From high school to college to pro ball to being on the Blaze, but also with AU and AUSL. The 2025 AUSL All-Star Cup was big for you as you continue set the standards, break them, set another one, break that one. When you go out there, you complete game shutouts, you have MVP honors. What part of that run do you feel like you're most proud of? Especially when it comes to as you continue to get better and you continue to set new standards. What do you feel like was a standard you set in 2025 with Pro Bowl?
This year was not good for me on the Blaze. I think I posed a 7.99 ERA in regular season, and that left me embarrassed. It left me questioning like what is really going on right now. It left me like just with a lot of questions that I needed to be answered. And at one point, I was like, there's no other answer but to just go out and ball and say F it, like just be who I am. I think there was just a lot of uncertainty throughout the season internally for me. And I was just like, I don't need to necessarily know exactly what's going on. I just need to go perform and be who I need to be or who I really am. So All Star Cup was kind of for me like almost like a comeback season. Like this is who I really am, and this
Mhm.
is who to continue to be. This year didn't define me. No matter what the numbers say, it's not gonna define me moving forward. And I think we're just trying to prove myself right. I think at the end of the day, it's like that really was not who I was. I had a bad year, but it ended off on a great note, and I feel like I was really competitive. I felt like I was in my zone. I felt like I had great people around me, and I'm grateful I was able to feel like I could redeem myself in the All Star Cup.
I love when you say, like, prove myself right versus, like, go out and prove other people wrong. I like the change of perspective. I'm gonna prove myself right. And as you proved yourself right, what do you feel like you proved to yourself?
So then I'm still that girl. No, no, absolutely. And you caught me on that because if you don't believe in yourself, then who's going to believe in you? Yeah, you're gonna have your tribe, your people encouraging you, but at the end of the day, it's internally you have to know who you are and what you bring to the table. And even if you gotta fake it till you make it until you can find some of that confidence, and that's what you gotta do. So for me, it's like this isn't over for me. Yeah, I got a slack tear. Yeah, my knees are creaking every time I bend down. But hey, I'm still gonna blow it by you. I'm still gonna make it dance and I'm still gonna get hits. And I think a lot of people count me out offensively. And for me, putting myself in the lineup every single day is like, and this is where I would say I prove other people wrong because in AU in the past, like people got to determine who was in the lineup.
Mhm.
And oftentimes I was left out and I was really just a PO. So for me, it's like, no, I can actually hit and I'm going to show you that I can hit and I hit and that's all she wrote. So it was one of those comeback, like take it personal kind of all star cups.
Mm. Imma make it dance. Whether
Who be
I'm
hitting it?
throwing it in there or I'm hitting it in a hole. It's the ball gonna dance, baby. It's gonna dance. being a true utility and a hitter. I mean, you go out there, you pitch, you can play infield, you can play outfield, and you can hit. That's so many different elements that you've been able to craft and become successful in. How does one work to dominate so many different positions? Because I mean, we've heard this saying, what's this like? Jack of all trades is a professor or profession of none, something like that.
In college, my coach Walton had to sit down and talk with me and said, "You cannot be the jack of all trades and a master of none." So it's
Mm,
jack of all trades, master of one.
master of none, yeah.
Said you can't be the master of none, girl. You got to be better. But I think it it feels a little bit easier because I grew up playing like different sports, but I also grew up playing shortstop, which, in my opinion, one of the most athletic people on the field. Um, so in my professional career and really just my whole career, I think I've just tried to train like an athlete over trying to be specific to just one position. Like if you see me in practice, like it's rare I'm taking PFPs because I want to play second base or shortstop, and then I'm gonna go to the outfield, and then I'm gonna come back and take some more infield. So for me, it's just training like an athlete versus just training like a pitcher who can field a ground ball here and there.
Yeah.
Just stay, on top of, you know, the physicality of it.
You're never gonna be that pitcher where they make a play and they're like, "Ooh, she's athletic." As like a start, you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, girl. Ooh, let third baseman get it. Let third baseman get it." No, no, no. Okay, you got it. You got it. Being able to play everything. I mean, you are someone when you talk about going to go hit and being able to really show everybody, prove everybody wrong in that capacity. Do you feel like there's pitching in a way helps you become a better hitter?
I think so. Yeah. I like to think about things like EV, like effective velocity, and what someone might throw me or what I would throw them, and understanding like the charts and what to throw in certain counts in certain moments. But I think being a pitcher also helps me scout where I'm able to understand other pitchers a lot better than maybe the average player who doesn't necessarily understand pitching charts. So I think that gives me an edge to be able to understand tendencies and counts and look deeper into what you throw in different counts and how you throw and how to use it. And I think also just working in broadcasting has helped me learn how to scout even more. Uh, I definitely think being a pitcher has helped me become a better hitter and understanding what pitches are coming.
And being able to understand and identify that not only is beneficial in pro ball, but also international ball as you play for Team Puerto Rico. And I'm assuming aiming for that 2028 Olympic spots. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Of course, of course. Of course, of course. Being
Yes.
able to represent Puerto Rico and continue to propel, hopefully, to the Olympics, what does that journey look like and what does it mean to you?
I've been playing for Puerto Rico for over 10 years now, like 12, I think, 13 maybe. I don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
I'm, and we didn't qualify for the last Olympics. That was really unfortunate and a heartbreaker for all of us. For me, I just want to end it knowing that we qualified.
Mm.
Obviously, that's the first step. I obviously want a medal as well, but the first step is qualifying. And I don't necessarily know what the journey looks like moving forward, but I know that we're gonna compete in every tournament that we're in, because a lot of things have changed. Just kind of being honest about it, like a lot of things have changed. There's been a lot of new players coming in and out. A lot of our core players, haven't been with us for a few years now. So it's just the question is just like who's gonna be on the team? What tournaments are we gonna play in the future? A lot of that stuff comes a little bit later than I would like it to, unfortunately. But either way, whatever tournament I go to, I'm gonna just do my best to compete. And then whenever we have the qualifiers, I know that we're gonna have the best team that we can have and hopefully qualify this time around because man, Mexico put BTA on us last time.
Is it a lot different than pro ball? Is as far as, like, really working to qualify, what do you feel like it takes? Like, what is the extra edge that Team Puerto Rico needs in order to make that last push?
I think we just need to get all of our players on the roster.
Yeah.
We haven't had all of our players in the same uniform for a few years, and I just think we need a set team to be able to practice together and continue to build on the foundation we've already created. The past year or two, we've kind of just been everywhere with players coming in and out. And as much as I love playing with different players and talented players, like I need to see some consistency in this next quad for us to be able to build and then qualify. So that's just me as a longtime vet on this team. That's what I would
Yeah.
like to see. I'm confident that we'll get there and we'll be able to put a solid team together to qualify.
When is the next qualifier?
Girl, I don't even know what we're planning next year. But I
It's
but
coming up.
oh these yeah, 27 has to be yeah, next year is the qualifier. 2027. There might be one here, but there might be just be like the World Cup or the World Games that somebody might qualify in, but next year for sure.
Since Puerto Rico is part of US, how does like the determination of who can play for Team Puerto Rico?
So you have to have some lineage for sure, just like any other
Okay.
country.
You gotta be a Puerto Rican.
Yeah, you gotta be, yeah, a little bit in you.
A
I
little
mean,
bit, little bit. Walk off, home runs to gold medal performances to international play. You've had I feel like so many iconic moments, World Series championships. When you think about one moment, what's like probably the biggest moment that gives you chills throughout your career? Or is like the stories like, oh, this is the one I'm gonna tell.
wow, there's so many moments in my career that I feel like give me chills. I would say, I don't even remember what year it was. I think it was my junior year or senior year. We walked off Texas A&M because a freshman hit a walk-off home run going oppo to send us to the World Series in extras.
Ugh.
Was it extras? Either way, it was a walk-off. And
Right.
I get chills every single time I watch the video. Jordan Matthews was just a dog in that moment. She stepped up. And honestly, I was happy because I was like over 17 at that point. So like, go crazy, sister.
Help me out.
Help me out, do your thing. But there's just so many moments. I mean, winning Puerto Rico's first gold medal, in that walk off. Well, it wasn't even a walk off. It was a game winning home run because we still had to hold them. But that was just, I mean, and against Dallas Escobedo, that was crazy.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I had no words. That was crazy. Um, and then another moment with Puerto Rico. It was in 2023. We won another gold medal. And it was my first time pitching full 7 innings after I tore my labrum because all summer on 3 innings, 5 innings, 1 inning, whatever. And pitching in the championship game to get us a gold medal against Cuba would would have been or was the first time I threw 7 innings. So for me, that was a moment like I can still do this. Like I'm still in the game and I can still throw 7. My arm can do it. That was another moment for me where I was like, I can do this. I trust my arm and I'm gonna go in full send.
I can still make a dance. That's like my official yes. Anything softball now, I'm just gonna try and make a dance, y'all. That's it. You've had so many different successes at so many different levels, but how would you define success and define yours?
I think success is what you make it according to the goals that you set. And like you said, this game is full of successes, but it's also filled with failures. And I think I've had a lot more failures than success. But I think it's important to not define myself by failures. But I think success, like when I put my mind to something and I'm able to, nibble away at it, because you don't have to tackle the big picture immediately. I think what's important with success is continuing to like set smaller goals to be able to build to that bigger goal, to be successful in what you set out to do. But for me too is like I have had so many great people in my corner that taught me so much. and have guided me along the way to become the player and the person that I am. And I think a lot of that has molded me in different ways that I can't even think of. So it's easy to look at my career and look at numbers and look at this or that and medals and trophies, but I would not be able to be holding any of those trophies or have a medal around my neck if it weren't for the people who have been around me that have not only contributed to that success, but have like helped me stay grounded through all the trials and tribulations throughout my career. So my dad, my parents, even my sister who's 5 and doesn't even know what softball is, like has been motivation for me and helped ground me. My dog over here eating and drinking water in the background has kept me grounded throughout every season of my life. My teammates, my people, um, good and bad, because I think you need to experience it all to really understand who you are and you know what you're able to do and what you're able to give and how to pour into other people and how to come back from those tough moments. So yeah, that was a long answer, but I think success is subjective, and I feel successful and rich because I feel like I've accomplished a lot, but I've also had the greatest village around me when doing so.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what makes Aleshia Ocasio successful. Yeah. Going into this year, 2026, what successes are you excited for, particularly with AUSL?
I just need my ERA to be under 7.9, and I'm kidding. Um, I'm excited for a comeback year with the Blaze. I am. Finishing last in the league was not fun. It was fun, hanging around my teammates and all that jazz, but it was not fun to be last. I think overall, like building on last year and just coming back and putting things together, I'm looking forward to the success of my team. I'm looking forward to having a better year. There's some goals that I gotta set, but I want to have a year where we medal with Puerto Rico in some capacity, whatever tournament we go to. Just personally too, I want to continue to broadcast. I want to continue to build my business and create more. But there's just a lot of things that I think 2026 is going to give me that I'm excited for, and I'm grateful that I'm in this position to be able to continue to play softball and to do all the things that I'm doing.
Building your own businesses, Lily, whether it be pitching chalk or Aleshia softball, something that means a lot to you, is something that you're really able to have ownership of. Why was that something you really wanted to invest in outside of being a pro softball player?
You're gonna laugh. So I had a job and I got fired from it. This was in high school, and at that moment, I was like, I can't work for nobody else ever in my life. Me.
Period.
Yeah, I was just like, I want financial freedom, but I also want to be able to dictate how much I'm making at the same time. And the hard reality on the other side of it is in order to play softball, in order to play professional softball, you either have to work for yourself or you have to be a coach. And I'm not ready to give up my freedom yet outside of the summer. So being a coach right now in college was a no for me. So I decided to create a training business that I could be proud of, and it's been going great. We just opened a facility a few months ago, so for me, it's just the freedom to be able to create my own schedule, to be able to dictate how much I earn, and then to also say, "Oh, I wanna go to Turks and Caicos next week. Let me, grab my calendar." So, um, for me, that was important. The freedom aspect of it, the control aspect of it, and just the ability to continue to scale and grow in my own ways.
Love it. Continue to set new standards because that is just the Lily way. Well, now we're going to go into the no fly zone segment. And because we know that when it comes down to the infield, the outfield, or the pitching circle, we like to turn the field into a no-fly zone. So, Lily, what was your favorite play you've ever made in your career?
I have a few. My junior year, I was playing third base, and we were actually playing LSU. Sorry. And a ball was hit into the camera well, and I had to go back and track it down. And there was a runner at third base too with less than 2 outs. So I literally go over my right shoulder and I kind of fall over the camera well a little bit and come back and look for the runner. But for me, that was just a big play to be able to get an out for my pitcher. But there's some other plays that I really love to look back at and watch in the circle, just the ones that I'm throwing on the run and making cool plays, to get runners out, I think are just so fun.
Always fun to make a batter have to go back to the dugout, whether she's the one pitching to us or just making the play against us. Love
Yeah.
to hear it. Lily, what do you feel like is the key to being an elite pitcher?
Obviously, you gotta know how to throw strikes. But uh, I think the key is understanding yourself and how to utilize your pitches. I think that is the key. I think also being able to control your emotions and have composure in the toughest of toughest moments and be able to have a dog mentality, I think, above all things, because you can be a good pitcher, but that doesn't mean that you're a dog. So I think having that dog mentality when you're on the mound and you're able to look tough moments in the face and literally knock them down like a wall and be able to persevere and come out the other side in those big moments, I think make you that girl as a pitcher. But I think if we're like going into like the nitty gritty of it, like obviously you gotta know how to use your pitches and understand how to read batters. So that's just like my pro answer. But I think just confidence in being a dog is that next level.
All comes back to being a dog.
Yes.
What would
But
you say is your wow softball moment? So a softball moment that made you say either, wow, I'm good. Wow, I love this team. Wow, I gotta get better. Just
oh,
a moment, a moment in softball that was like, wow. All right, here we go.
wow moment. Let's do this. Wow moment when Coach Walton put me in the pitch, like my first appearance ever as a freshman against Michigan. You know, we go to USF every year to open up. So we played Michigan, which is like top 10, and putting a freshman in, starting her first game, I was like shivering in my boots. But for me, that was a wow moment. Like, wow, I just beat them. And then the hug that my dad gave me after, like he was so proud of me, was another wow moment. Damn, it was all worth it, you know? All the
Oh,
tough weekends at the softball field, all the ripped cleats, all the screaming matches. Worth it.
I love that. Wow. I can only imagine because I mean, shoot, that's then you face Michigan in the World Series that year, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, for the final, the championship. Look at that! Wow.
Wow. Is it
Yeah.
Coach told me that like a few months ago. He's like, "I bet you didn't know you started your freshman year and ended your freshman year pitching and winning against Michigan." I was like, "Wow, you have a great memory, sir."
That's a pretty big wow moment. Wow. Yeah, that is wow. What would you say are your softball icks?
Wearing your visor, and I'm sorry if you do this, AJ, wearing your visor under your ear, like your
I
ears
do
over.
wear it under my ear. My ears come out. I can't have my ears inside. I can't. I can't. I just gave her the ick.
Ah! No, I didn't see it, so I don't have the again.
So you tuck your ears in? That's not uncomfortable?
Yeah, it is for only first form at a time.
Mm, I can't.
What's your softball like?
I would say my softball ick is, I mean, maybe it's just being an outfielder thing. I just hate when outfielders die for a ball they didn't need to die for. And it's just like obvious that you didn't need to die for. I get like, ugh, you didn't have to do that.
When you, like, make an easy play look hard and they get praised for it, like,
Mhm. I'm
yeah,
just
no.
like, okay,
Yeah.
next. But good job though. Good job. Good job. Good job. What would you say is your favorite failure? So, failure that ultimately led to one of your biggest successes?
I think my sophomore year, getting walked off by Georgia to like not go to the World Series was like a moment where I just had to like reevaluate my whole entire life. Um, Not my whole life, but definitely like who I was as a pitcher. Um, because I'm a competitive person, but I think at times it's so easy, like I said before, so easy to get unfocused in moments. And as a pitcher, you can get lucky sometimes when you're unfocused, but when you're facing elite competition, like you can't take breaks, you can't take pitches off. So I think that was a definitely a wake up call for me in my career. Like I don't want to ever feel that way again. So yeah, just walk off. I used to have a curse, I'll say, AJ. I need to know actually, and I need to ask a stats guy to pull up the record and see how many home runs I've had hit off of me in the 6th and 7th innings. There's some numbers there.
There's a number there.
We need to talk about it.
Oh, you said 6, 7. All the kids listening, 6, 7 inning. Lily, thank you so much for joining me on Dropping Diamonds today and for allowing us to learn new and set new standards.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been seeing all the good work that you've been doing with Dropping Diamonds, so I'm honored to come on and share a little bit of my story, so I appreciate you.
Thank you. Lily, you're the best. And to all the listeners, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Continue this conversation on Instagram at Dropping Diamonds Pod. And remember our affirmation of every day, give what you got. I set the standard of what I see, dream, and who I will be. Today, my standards have no ceilings. I give myself permission to do what I've never done before. The best opportunity is behind the next door. It's behind the next door. Walk through it, set those standards, and I'll meet you here next week back at the Diamond. Bye for now.